Alright guys, welcome back. This is a video about those two super cheap Amigas I picked up. This one you're looking at right now is the motherboard on the 500 Plus. Now, this one when I cracked it open, it had an RF shield over the front, which is a good sign. I've spent hours cleaning the keyboard up, so there's no obviously I haven't done any retro brighting on it yet, but I've cleaned all the dust and muck off it, and there was a lot of dust and muck. I haven't quite finished with the top here, I want to give it another bath, but at least it looks more presentable. Now, a couple of things I want to show you on the motherboard here. Down here, that is the... Right, what I'm trying to show you guys is this battery. The battery backed up clock. Usually, they're corroded to hell. On this one, it was perfect. So, all I've done so far is clean it up, taken off the shroud. Now, the seller did say, well, he said it wouldn't boot. So, I've got a workbench disk that I know works. There's the ROM screen, so put that in, let's see what happens. Nothing. Interesting. Right, so, let's have a quick switch. Now I have two drives here. I have this drive, which comes from a 500, which I know works. This drive definitely does work. So what I'm going to do is just quickly pull this off. So now, let's see what happens now. So let's power back up the Amiga. There we go. Right. ROM. Put the floppy disk in. I don't know if you can hear that, but I forgot how long this takes to load. Sorry about the real time. Wait, guys. There you go. I'll wait for it to boot into the workbench. There you go. It does work perfectly well. So now I know that it literally is just a floppy drive that's broken with this machine. However, I have another drive. This drive was taken from the 500, the one that I bought with this 500 Plus. Now this drive, I have no idea what happened. That's that to that. Okay. And I gave my back of the ROM screen. If the ROM screen to load. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. It's not. Oh, there it goes. Right. So let's put the. Nothing. Nothing at all. So just kill the power. So I don't know if this drive's an act. cold is killing me. And again, it's taking ages to hit to the ROM screen. That's very interesting. See, there it goes there. Yet nothing. Right. Let me go back to the one I know definitely works. Make sure everything's okay. Right. Clink, clonk, clunk, and you can hear the drive self-test there and it boots right up, right. And you can hear the drive clicking away waiting for the disc. So that drive and that cable and everything definitely works. So what I'm going to do is I've pulled off cables off that one, and I'm going to pull the cables off this one because I know they definitely all work. And I'm going to try that. I actually don't think it is this, but I'm going to try it anyway. I actually think this Amiga has been outside or something. Nothing at all. It's not even booting. Oh, blast box. Let's throw that away to fuck just now. Back with this working drive with working connectors. Well, that's interesting. Right, so current state the 500 plus. The internal drive's knackered. It might just need a good clean. I might going to take it out and try that. I have a working drive, which we've tested it with, and so we know it definitely does work, which is good. So this drive from another Amiga, which needs to go back into. This drive was from the 500. Yeah. Who knows what's going on with that? So that's the current state of the 500 plus. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly shut off the camera and I'm going to show you what's going on with the 500. Okay guys, back with the 500. Now this thing is disgusting. I'll have this huge pile of wet wipes and bleach cloths. I mean, the Amiga out there, somebody had filled it in with biro. It's disgusting. That's going to be good clean. Now, what was interesting is when I took the lid off this thing, apart from the crap in the keyboard, also the floppy drive's missing because we talked about that earlier there. If you look here, let me zoom in, the connectors that hold the RF shield on have been ripped off. Here as well. Now the case is a bit damaged on the underside, however you're wondering why there's a hole there. Well, that's because the trapdoor expansion is off. Trapdoor expansion, because when I open that, had this in it. Yes, an original Commodore 501 half meg RAM upgrade for this machine. Now, it does say there R6, so I'm assuming that means revision 6 motherboard. So, all I've done to this one so far is, oh, just now look there, you can see that it's been all torn off here as well. All I've done to this one so far is I've cleaned it up very slightly. I've taken out the floppy drive. Now with the floppy drive, it did nothing, didn't boot at all. Watch this. Goes grey, does some self-checking. It's looking for a floppy drive, so it's taking longer. It boots. Isn't that interesting? Yes. That's very interesting. So what I'll do is I'm going to power this off, and then I'm going to attach this floppy drive that I know that works. Just quickly and loosely. Got my workbench disc here. Now the keyboard is still connected in this one, so let me just click this on my foot here, and click, there you go, right, so, and the power light's on. Isn't that interesting? This won't boot because it requires a later workbench. Interesting. Let me just quickly pause the camera here and see if I can find a disc that has an earlier workbench on it. Thank God for me collecting too much crap. Workbench 1.3. Backup copy, so I'm reset the Amiga. Clicks in, and let's see what happens now. Oh, that's interesting, it's off screen a bit. Also didn't find the battery backup clock because the 500 doesn't have one as standard. It's on that 501 card I've got in my hand right now. Now there is some acid damage on this card. In fact, there's quite a lot of acid damage on this card. Not really quite sure what to do with that now. That boots fine. So that's interesting. So that drive from another 500 I have definitely works. The drive from the 500 Plus doesn't, but it still allows the machine to boot. This just shorts the thing out, so that's very interesting. Now I'm going to do one more test. I'm going to power off the Amiga again, but this time I'm going to reinstall. Sorry guys, reinstall the half meg RAM expansion. This is supposed to be done from the other side, but I'm sure we can make it fit. That's it back in, that's the way it sits. So, let's see what happens when I power up the Amiga. Starting to boot Workbench 1.2 and 1.3 again. Did you see that there? It's found the battery backup clock and set the clock to the default, which is October the 31st, 1978. It's 6:50 in the morning. This is very interesting, guys. Yeah, and if you look, you can't really see it too well, but on the Workbench screen, it shows the amount of free memory, which I know for a fact that amount there is what it is, including a 1/2 mega RAM expansion. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So, there we have it. That's the update on the two super cheap Amigas. Really not what I expected. I basically expected to pull... This is the drive from the 500. Put that in the 500 Plus. Woohoo! Have a working 500 Plus. But so it's this. It's causing the problems. I don't know what to do. Problem is, the drive that I've been using, I need that. Because I have a 500 that I've just bought a motherboard for. A Revision 6 motherboard, which works perfectly well. I'm going to throw that in there, and that's a working Amiga. Shit. What I might do is I'm actually going to take this one apart. See if there's anything obviously wrong inside of it. There's definitely some aging on the top. The other one, have to think of this. But for £15 I have two sort of working Amigas, and that, once I clean up that 1/2 mega RAM expansion, to me that's worth that £15 alone that I paid. I'm really happy. Really happy. I do have a top RF shielding I could use on the 500 anyway, that's fine. So, I mean, I could give it a really good clean up, put it back together, as long as it's got a drive for it, that's another Amiga. So literally that would take me to, assuming I get them both repaired, that takes me to two 500s, two 500 pluses, a 600 and a 1200. That's really interesting though, that this floppy drive is causing the machine to short. Obviously it's some kind of electrical short. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you in my next video. Bye bye.